I practiced a simple visualization practice for the last 10 years, and it took me from broke, surrounded by alcoholics, to building my absolute dream life, becoming an international best-selling author, building my dream business. I turned my old yearly salary into monthly, sometimes my daily. And in this video, I will share with you how I did it, what that visualization practice is, and hopefully a lot more. Without further ado, let's get the party started. I'm seeing an intro where you see
visualizing became a normal thing.
some of the most successful
This is when you were broke and poor.
Right, having directors interested in me and
entrepreneurs,
So I started visualizing at like 13, 14.
athletes talking about the power of visualization. Maybe my editors, they can, they make some magic, and they're the biggest athletes, performers, entrepreneurs in the world talking about visualization, and then we get the party started. All right, let's do this. Let me give you a little bit of context before you start so you understand where I'm coming from. I was born and raised in Germany. My siblings were born in Uzbekistan. It's a very long story, but here's the short version. So we have German roots, and then part of my family went to Russia to work. There was this movement, a bit of a history lesson here, of Germans living in a part of Russia, a specific part, and would just live there, work there. And then World War II happened, and being German in Russia during World War II wasn't the best thing. And so they got deported, my family got deported to Siberia, and then later went to Uzbekistan. That's where my siblings were born, and where my father was born. And so at some point they could return to Germany, and I was born. My mom was already quite sick before I was born. I mean, this is just based on stories. I've never really had a conversation with her about it. Obviously, I was, I think, 1.5, 2 years old when she passed away. But apparently my mom was so sick, or was struggling with her health so much, that doctors would tell her, like, it's not a good idea to have a baby, and that it wasn't really possible, and yada, yada, yada. My mom, she seemed very determined and said, I have the strong calling to have a child, another child. And so I was born. Mom, if you're listening, thank you for that chance. And then one of my earliest childhood memories is sitting in a car, everyone around me acting weird. It was night time, and I could sense that something was off, but no one could explain it to me. But everyone was acting weird. And there was the night my mom died, and there was a big trauma point for me, for everyone around. Imagine you move with the love of your life, 2 kids, to a new country. You barely speak the language, you're still learning it, and then your wife dies. That's obviously super challenging and super traumatic. And whenever something traumatic happens, a lot of human beings tend to numb the pain instead of feeling it, instead of working through it, and turn to alcohol, turn to cigarettes, turn to other drugs, turn to work. And my caregiver chose alcohol. And so I grew up not just surrounded by one alcoholic, but plenty. Alcoholism is still a big problem, especially for the Russian community. Alcoholism in Russia is a big issue. And it's one thing being an alcoholic, it's another thing to be surrounded by an alcoholic as well. Both is horrible, both is terrible, I can tell you. And so my childhood was actually many times as a child, as a teenager, because I didn't know that anything else would exist, I would feel just depressed and asking myself, like, if this is life, why am I even living? But like, what's the point? I remember asking myself, like, what did I do in my past life to deserve this? I didn't do anything. My mom died. I grew up being abused mentally, physically. It was horrible. I was heavily bullied at school and I hated my life. Really, when I was a teenager, I hated my life. I had good moments like on a football court or playing with my, or spending time with my grandma. Like that was epic. She was the light of my life. She still is. Now I have many other lights, but just so you get an idea of where I'm coming from. We had barely any money. My day-to-day life was just anticipating when would the next outburst of emotion happen and when would I be victim again. The older I got, the more I benefited from this German system of, just being able to go to school, having access to the World Wide Web. And I came across YouTube and started watching videos from this one guy called Misha. He played a big role in my life. Misha Janetz is his name. And I started watching his videos and he would talk about meditation, visualization, nutrition, and all of those things. And, I'm from a tiny town called Weze. Like, all of those things sounds crazy, but that was completely new to me. Now it feels like most people, know about those concepts, have heard about meditation. But back then, at least in my bubble, no one would meditate. No one would visualize. No one would read books. And so I started. I listened to his recommendation. I started reading the books. I started studying the human mind. And that was so incredibly empowering. And also hearing other people having tough childhoods and then finding their way out of it, using it as a gift. It was like, wow, you can do that. So I would read everything that I could find about personal development and everything that was available on, on the internet. And I came across people like Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, and oh wow, I can still feel the emotions coming up. It felt like, wow, my mind is expanding. There is hope. There is faith. Because if they can do it, I can do it. I remember reading Viktor Frankl's book, A Man's Search for Meaning. I was like, wow, you can go through something so terrific like the Holocaust and still find meaning and still make your life amazing afterwards. Wow, if they can do it, I can do it. And that was really the turning point of my life. When I understood one of my favorite quotes of all time, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space, you can choose your response. And in that response, in that space lies your growth and freedom. Something like that. But at the end of the day, it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you react. And another quote that would pop up, nothing has meaning until we give things meaning. I'm like, wow. So I can sit there and be a victim and say, oh, poor me, I had this terrible childhood. Or I can say, well, because of that childhood, I am able to go through hard times. Because of that childhood, like now I know those things, because I grew up with alcoholics, I am so incredibly good at reading the room, at reading emotions, at seeing psychological patterns. Because of, like, if you know, with an alcoholic, if you grow up with an alcoholic, you need to be able to read the room. You need to be able to know in what kind of state is he right now? Am I safe here? So I created this new story of like, oh my gosh, all of this happened for me, not to me. One of the crucial parts was, I don't know exactly who it was. Honestly, it was probably multiple people, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins. All of them recommended, hey, in this first hour of your day, have a routine where you connect to your higher self, where you visualize. And I was playing football. So sometimes I heard about visualization. I heard that, Tony Robbins would use it. I know Conor McGregor would talk about visualization. And at that time, that's the turning point. I sat down every morning before I would do anything else, I would sit down, I would meditate, and then I would visualize. I would pick 3 scenarios that I want to achieve in my life, and I would see myself. This is the crucial part, okay? You need to understand this. I would see myself already celebrating what I wanted to achieve. I would see myself already in the moment celebrating as if it's already there. And don't tell me I cannot visualize, because you've visualized in your life so many times already. Every single time when you worry about something, you visualize. How many times have you worried about something? It has not happened yet in reality, but you already felt the feeling. You already felt the anxiety. You already felt the stress. That is visualization. That's visualization happening to you. If you want visualization to happen for you, you do the opposite. You visualize the best case scenario. And by the way, how many times did you worry about something? You felt the stress, you felt the anxiety, and it never happened. So many times. Whenever I ask people in a room, everyone says like, I've done this hundreds of times in my life. Exactly. That's the power of your mind. So what you want to do is sit down, visualize the best case scenario, pick something and be specific. Pick something that you want to achieve. So in my world, it was, I wanted to live somewhere. I don't know who put that thought into my head, but it was just there. It was so important to me. I wanted to live somewhere warm, wake up, go outside, it's warm, I can look at the sea. There's like every single morning I would visualize waking up, sitting there, opening my eyes, it's warm, I would feel peaceful, I would feel proud, I would look at the ocean. There is something about me and the ocean, just looking at it. And every morning I would feel that joy. Every morning I would have a smile on my face. There was something specific, and I could show you the view out of my apartment here, or when I'm in Bali. That's literally my reality now. I did the same thing. I envisioned my first 10,000 followers on Instagram. Every single time every morning I would sit down and I would feel as if I already have that number. I would celebrate. I see myself celebrating. I see myself having a cake that says 10K and really feeling it. And that's the crucial part. That's where you need to go deep. That's your practice. Really feeling the emotion connected to it. So you pick 3 scenarios every morning. That's exactly what I do. I pick 3 scenarios. The scenarios sometimes change. I see myself as if it already happened. I celebrate the moment of it happening. I feel the emotions attached to it, and I don't stop before I have that feeling connected. Don't just sit down and like, I am rich. No, you need to feel the feeling. And the feeling is something you create. And by the way, you never want the car, the view, the holiday, the 10,000 followers. You want the feeling that you think that car, the amount of Instagram followers, the amount of money will give you. The relaxed feeling of knowing you have so much money in your bank account, you can just chill. You want that. You don't want some, paper. You don't want to be necessarily, if you say like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, but you would probably also be happy with 900,000 or 800,000. Why? Because you want the feeling that is attached. But here's the mistake that many, many people think. They think the outside will give them the feeling inside. That is not true. There are a lot of millionaires and even billionaires who still feel broke inside, because it's not the outside that determines how you feel. It's the inside. It's you. When I made that realization, everything changes. Don't make the mistake of saying, oh, once I have this thing, I will be happy and grateful. No, be happy and grateful right freaking now, so you can achieve that thing even faster and you can enjoy it. Because what is more miserable than having all the fame, having all the money, and still feeling broke inside? And there are so many examples, famous examples, of that happening. Avicii, it breaks my heart every single time to think about it. He had all the fame, he had so much money, it would be even hard to spend that much money, but he would still feel broke inside because it's not the outside, it's the inside that creates true wealth. And I know that if you sit down every single morning and you visualize how it's already gonna be when you have that, and you feel that feeling now, and you carry that feeling through the day, you achieve things faster and you enjoy them actually. You can actually stand and like celebrate, wow, I'm so proud of myself. You can actually feel relaxed. You can actually feel enough. And the most beautiful thing is, it's not gonna be something that happens in the future. You can do it today. I can let you sit down in front of me and I can make you feel proud and enough and joyful now. It doesn't matter where you are. Whether you're in a hospital room, whether you are in the ugliest apartment in the world, you can have that feeling, and you can be in the nicest house on planet Earth, on the Maldives, and feel like a piece of shit. Inside job. It's the inside. Here's something magical that happens. When you sit down and you visualize your best case scenarios, when you visualize your higher self, you also train a part of your brain called the RAS, reticular activating system, to focus on the thing that matters most to you. So for example, if you've ever bought a new car or you want to buy a new car, all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere. That's the power of your RAS, reticular activating system. I give you an example from my own life. It was Louise's birthday, my girlfriend's birthday, and she loves Mini Cooper. It's her favorite car. And I went to a car rental place. I started looking for her perfect car, the Mini Cooper, and looked everywhere. They had only versions that wouldn't fit, that she didn't like. And anyways, but guess what happened for the next 2 weeks? Everywhere I saw Mini Coopers. I'm like, this is the Mini Cooper you like. This is the Mini Cooper you like. The same is true for anything you want to achieve. You need to focus on it. Then you will start seeing opportunities. Let's say you want to make XYZ amount of money. You will start seeing opportunities to make money. Write a book. You will start seeing opportunities to make that happen. For example, I started 8 years ago as a personal trainer, and I had that goal. I would visualize every single morning my first clients. And so every opportunity I started seeing it. And my first client I ever had, I met in a Thai imbis. It was an older lady. I was just nice to her. And she told me, my niece, she needs someone like you, someone who kicks her ass. You are hired. That's the beauty of your RAS. It's one of the biggest manifestation hacks there is. Whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on shit grows. If you focus on opportunities grow. They become more. If you focus on the good grows. You have this, one of the most important practice you get to experience as a human being, training your focus. So when you sit down and you visualize in the morning, you are literally priming your brain to focus on what you want. One of my all-time favorite sentences from Esther Hicks, I've read it thousands of times. You cannot focus on unwanted and expect wanted. You cannot focus on unwanted and expect wanted. So your job is to focus on what you want. Your job is to focus on wanted. I think by now I've sold the visualization to you 5,000 times. These 30 minutes, 60 minutes of your day, they're yours to train your focus, to sit down, to train your mental muscles, and to visualize. Pick 3 scenarios that you want to achieve, that you want to experience, and see yourself already celebrating it. It already happened. Time just hasn't caught up yet. This exercise will change your life. Every single morning you will sit there with a big smile. Every morning you will be priming your reticular activating system to look for opportunities, to focus on what you want. But only if you actually take the time, only if you do it. The magic is in the doing, not in the thinking. So will you do it? Will you do it tomorrow morning? I hope so. I want the best for you, but you need to take responsibility of your life. If you start your morning like you started the last couple of years, your life will be the same. Unless you do something new, unless you push through the discomfort, nothing will change. Unless you change, nothing will change. And remember Misha from earlier? The guy whose videos I used to watch? He's now a friend of mine. We play paddle together. I had him on my podcast multiple times. That is like, it's so hard to describe. It's like describing how rose smells. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands, couldn't be more true. I'm the living proof of it. I went from broke, nobody believed in me, to reaching, inspiring millions of people, becoming an international best-selling author. It is wild what's possible if you believe. Nobody will believe in you first. You will have to do that. You have to be the leader. You have to be the voice. Don't wait for outside approval. Here, it needs to come from the inside. And the best shortcut that I know is to learn from people that have achieved what you want to achieve. And in the last 8 years, I've helped thousands of people with training, seminars, programs, retreats. And I'm at a turning point once again in my life because I decided to become a professional paddle athlete in my 30s. And so I'm letting go, I need to let go just because of time reasons, of a lot of those programs. And if you're quick, this here that I'm launching is really for my core community and everyone who's fast. For the next couple of days, you get the offer of my lifetime, of your lifetime. This is the craziest offer I've ever put out. All of those programs, instead of just deleting them, I put into a bundle, the 1% bundle. So if you want the 1% life, this is for you. If you want the 1% income, the 1% mind, the 1% body, this is for you. Those programs that you will find in there, accumulated, are worth thousands of euros. You get it for the price of a new pair of AirPods. Those programs are programs that turned beginners with their personal brands from 0 to their first 10K months, completely transform their physical body. It helped people to go from 5K to 30K with their personal brand. It inspired people to keep going, even when doctors didn't believe in them. We have my favorite programs of all time in there, like TLO, where I teach you the not just teach you, you can listen to the visualization practice. There are guided visualization practices by me that I've created that you can just sit down in the morning, listen to it, follow along. If you do that, you create the most amazing results for yourself. You need to be consistent, but that's inside of TLO and so much more. We have Evergreen Blueprint, High Ticket Blueprint in there. Programs that are usually thousands of euros, so heavily discounted. We have my Passive Investment Blueprint in there, which is already wild. Like, everyone with the average income can build generational wealth if you use, Albert Einstein called it the 7th miracle of the world, compound interest. Literally one of the best blueprints I've seen about passive investment. You walk out of there knowing exactly how to invest and build generational wealth. None of this is a quick fix. This is only for people who have this drive and the same vision like I do, which is, I'm not going to leave this planet without fulfilling my full potential. So it's for people who have this incredible hunger, who are actually going to work through the videos, who are actually going to join the 1%. I call it the new rich. The new rich are people who value health over cigars and looking good from the outside. The new rich are people who don't numb their feelings, who become incredible partners, parents, who build massive amount of wealth so they can provide for their families, so they can donate, so they can fuel their body with the best quality ingredients. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to miss out on this incredible deal. It's only valid for a couple of days. Those programs will be gone afterwards. I want you to take advantage of it. It's the launch of my lifetime and your lifetime for the price of a pair of AirPods. There will be even an initiation call, a live call with me, one where you can get coached by me online and join our incredible community. I'll put the link down below. I hope I see you inside of this community, and I hope we get the chance to work together. And most importantly, I want you to sit down tomorrow morning. The first hour of the day is yours to visualize, to see yourself already celebrating what you want to achieve as if it's already yours. I mean, it is already yours. Time just hasn't caught up yet. See you in the next one.